So I had a call. It was an important one. Very important. It was fun. But yeah, what I was talking about before, about you know, just thinking about stuff, you know, ranting and raving. It's not gonna change anything. I know that. Oh man, do I know it, because it never does. But hopefully it changes people's minds, I guess, or some people who watched it, and maybe they share it, like, because, you know, they could be a certain person they want to be, you know. I think sometimes when people really look at alright, we're gonna make some sparks and shit. Yeah! Yeah. Alright, but yeah, realizing that there's a big difference between just reacting to something and expecting something to be like a certain way. Man, there's a lot of ways that being a good person can change the way that anyone thinks, and not only just being a good person, but being a less judgmental person, because I'm accustomed to it, and really, if you think about it, people judge, so it's just like a natural thing, I guess. But realizing that after that judgment, you start to realize that that's the first impression. So like the next time a doctor comes and touches your privates, be like, does that doctor really enjoy touching my privates? You know, there's like that. And if the person enjoys touching your privates, then how much do they enjoy it? You know? How much do they actually enjoy it? It's really important to know exactly what the people who are doing things for you, how they're doing things, or how they're feeling, or how they want to do things, because you can not only, I'd say that not only nip things in the bud, I'd say criminally, but you can also by
Shit.
just by being there, you're able to push situations out of existence. Like, to say, for instance, you really want to push for you really want to push for a system of guidance for it's just, I don't know, just, you want to push for a system of rules, I guess, and guidance, because it's just better and easier. And not only because it's better and easier, but because you can express yourself a lot better if you have parameters into which places you can't go. Like, say for instance, like all that other different stuff. Like, people say stupid stuff like they want to do things with things, or they want to, like, I can't say it because I don't feel like saying it, because I would never do it. Like, they want to say things like the reason behind a lot of people not liking or not seeing or not understanding what American culture could actually be, and what American culture really needed to be for a lot of people, and wasn't, because people weren't interacting with each other for a very long time. So there's going to be people who are just left out and feel as though that they don't have what it takes, or they think that no one else has what it takes to be their friend, or to be someone who they look to, or would have. The reasons why I think that sometimes is because, and there's people out there that I wouldn't call influential, because of the ways that I was not brought up, but the things that I liked when I liked them. Because I don't want to call it that, because I had a part of it in it too. There wasn't someone else trying to guide me in a certain way. I mean, granted, all the universe basically kind of talk, I guess, in some ways, but the universal rules states that we are always being set forth on by another force, a light, or a sound, or a force like gravity, or a force like anything, is always presently and possibly pushing down on us every single chance that we get. Every single step of the way, we're always being pushed down by something. We're forced to do something that we don't want to do, because of things that we think we want, or things that we like. But I mean, it's like, within those boundaries, there's
reporting a criminal resisting arrest on East Joshua Road. Jackass!
yay.
Perfect sight in pursuit.
I found out that a lot of times people don't understand that their actions and their wants, their anything that they have, anything that they think about, it has consequences. And everything they do have consequences. Everything you do has a consequence. You enacting on a certain object basically has consequences. God damn it! And I hit it twice. I don't know how that happened, but there was a glitch, and the car moved back from the pole and then went forward again. That was really cool. Those things are really good. Tiramisu. I find out that most of the time I don't want to make a difference for fear of being judged by people who I've never even met. I don't want to confront someone for fear of that person saying I'll never talk to that person because of the things that they said or the things that they thought they did. Or but in the same sense, I'm like, if I don't say something, then they'll never know who I am. They'll never know how I stand on things, and they'll never know the way that I feel about a certain issue. And my stance on the issue of consumerism and hot button people saying different things about the way that things are happening and how things are happening, and like even my rants about Syria and all those other fucked up things that are happening, when in actuality it's like a gang dismantling of buildings that have been standing for a really long time, when people who believed in that stuff left, or people who believed in that stuff died, or people who believed in that thing, those things don't want to believe in those things anymore. You're or don't want to have those beliefs constantly controlling their every move or action. Your beliefs can be your beliefs, and that's the way that I stand, and the real reason why I stand for the national anthem. The real reason why I put my heart on where my heart, well, part of my hand, where my heart is supposed to be, or something like that, is because it's not because of anybody else. It's not because of Abraham Lincoln. It's not because of George Washington. It's because I believe in that. I believe in myself, and I think that power through self is dictated about not only the people that came before you, but the image and the impact that you'll have on someone just by being, or just by enjoying, or just by loving, or just by hating, or just by being angry or sad or happy or anything like that. Is my effect on someone else through my own words or spoken word doesn't have to be, it can be as minimal as possible, because of the things set in place to where other people can take my words and put them in a different context to where it can benefit other people and it can benefit other things. It's not just about what came before, but it's also about what comes next. And we are experiencing the future, the past, and the present all at once because of this thing people call time. Because they're just a series of moments. You have to realize that. They're just a series of moments, and the moon, the sun, they're not setting or going. It's just a word that people find amusing. People know they're not the center of the universe, but they like to believe that they are in some ways, because in some ways they want people to have all of their eyes on them. And through that hyper consumerism, people start to make and formulate opinions where they thought and never thought that they'd ever have an opinion about something. I'm going to keep going because I've only been going 14 minutes. And I've talked about a lot of stuff because I really do have a lot on my mind, I guess. I have found out a lot of times where oh man, there we go. Got it. I found out that a lot of times I've made decisions based on something that I saw in a book or in something, and and then realized that I get really excited when I'm around something that I really like, though. Like, I'm kind of. Nice. I just headbutted the rock. Oh, god dang it. Okay. When you find out that people themselves will stop or won't stop um, what's the word? God dang it. When you find out that people have a different ideal than you, or a different thing than you start to realize the reasons why I don't have any viewers. Or I start to realize the reasons why I don't have any viewers, because there's no one actually to watch me saying this.
Top of the food chain! Lucky miss!
I look for a lot of times to be I look a lot of times to be a driving force of what I want to say and how I want to say it. And in some ways, I don't know why I do this sometimes. Maybe I just want to see if people want to think like me. Maybe I want to. Maybe I want to understand if there's damn it. Maybe I want to understand if there's a reason for stuff that looks good and for people that do stuff or say stuff that's awesome, I guess. Maybe there's a place where it's not so hard to get a discussion going. Or maybe that discussion itself would be superficial if there was nothing that any government or person could do about it. You know? Because and that's the kind of stuff that I think about a lot on a daily basis. Because that's the whole reason why I started reading comic books when I was really, really young. Is because I wanted a way to be able to solve the problems that people think can't be solved. It's like there's an outlet for the thing that I think about every day, and it could be It could be something that someone just thinks about on an occasion. But if that story were to get out to someone and to be able to help them with something that they wanted, and that's the way that capitalism and whatever the republic works. It works because there's room for error, and there's room for but also within that room for error, there's room for backlash. And I don't know, like people think that, I'd say there's just so many other ways to be able to fund an economy, to do things with an economy, to be able, but I don't know if anyone wants to think that there's an idea that doesn't seem like it's supposed to be that way, or doesn't, you don't feel the like, oh, you don't,
predator in action.
you don't feel the rhythm of it, or the it seems awkward because you're trying it for the first time, because you tried so many other things and you like those things, but then, and that's what it's about consumerism and things like that. Do you consume? And that's the reason why I say like, well, you only get to know about consumerism and the way that you consume when you get too old to be the target audience, to where the consumerism actually stops. And that's something that I really wanted to talk about. Is where like the people who think that consuming something is a way of life, or consuming something or someone that's where the zombie comes in. Like the whole effortless consumerism. It didn't even take a friggin' thing. It's just like this is so easy to be able to consume this. That's where the consumerist zombieism comes from. It's where the zombie itself was born. Is seeing a habit and not being without regard for that habit, or disdain from saying that habit controls you or pushes you down a path, or anywhere. And oh man, there's just, and not to say that those paths are bad, or those paths are like, oh damn it, I didn't see that rock coming. Not to say that those paths are bad, or not to say that the path, or not to say that all of those paths are bad, because some of those paths are bad. Some of those paths really do deserve to be just not followed, or not consumed, I guess. Whenever I start to think about what my life means to me, and how I want to be able to see something, I want to be able to get into a story. I've started to look at comic books, and the way that I consumed back in the day is, I was engulfed in everything. I was inside of whatever I thought a bubble was. And it's not that the bubble pops, it's that you slowly but surely fade away from the bubble. It's like you see the bubble up close, and you see what it is and how it is, and then realize that there's a product market for it, and that there's a thing that inspires you about it, and you're like, wow, this thing is amazing. And then you get older and you start to not even see those same correlations with everything, and you start to, and yes, I'm talking about philosophy in some ways, because I don't like to call it philosophy, because in some ways that people say that philosophy is the devil's whatever or something, It's just in any form. It could be mass consumerism on a global scale to be seen as and also too, I don't really believe in clones either. Not to say that I don't believe in stem cell research or anything like that, but I don't believe in clones. Like, I don't believe in an exact copy of something. I only believe that there are molecules that mimic something else. Because those molecules, even though they're replicating or something like that, they're replicating in a way that either it would be like a kidney or something else. Those involuntary functions live inside of you, and they are literally you, but within those realms, I think it has a lot to do with what we consume and how we think that everything's gonna be okay, when in actuality, you have to understand that things change, and people move on, and people change their complete and utter structure of life. And it's only 26 minutes in, god dang it. But there's more than I anticipated. This product, or this thing was. And also too, maybe in a certain way, people push those markets because of the way that they think. They think one person is about everything that another person is about, but then they start to realize that that's the point. Is molecules mimic molecules. When going down to a molecular level, molecules mimic other molecules. They mimic other molecules to stay in for survival, basically. I'm gonna go to the military base and I'm gonna see if I can get the jet. Oh my gosh. Nice. That was cool. And this is the reason why I feel as though I think that, and I'm hiding behind something, I guess. People aren't seeing my face. But it's only because I'm living somewhere where I'm trying to protect the privacy of someone else. And I think that, though, I've been without reason to want to push a grinding. I think the most times I've, yeah. I think the most times I've seen consumerism at its best is when people themselves think that there's an air about someone that they find intriguing. Then they're able to sell someone something. Charm, for instance, I guess. Or, oh my gosh. Yes. Awesome. That was cool. I landed on my feet. I think the most times that I've been influenced by stuff is whenever I stole a piece of gum out of a supermarket because I thought that it was cool because I saw it on TV. Then I realized that it was wrong because it's not mine, and just because it's a minuscule offense doesn't make it any less pertinent. And also too, within those realms, I've actually gone back to those stores and bought food from there, and realized that and that it was like when I was 5 years old, so it was like there was like, but also too, I couldn't stand myself to like, I wanted to see, and
I don't have a
man,
visual on the
it's
guy.
like,
This is Jumper 5, he's east.
it's so hard to put people into it's so hard to put people into categories, but you can put people in categories by what they like. And when you find someone that they like, a person that they like, you can say that, wow, there's everything that you can possibly even like here. But in that same sense, no, it's not. It's a person summing up the values and views of people who have varied opinions over a long period of time, plus a long distance. And it's like people want to get to know what America is, and just like you're not gonna find out what you think America is or what you think America is about unless you were to meet every single person at a certain amount of time, and that would take for literally forever. But the fact is that through consumerism, or through a certain number of wants, desires, and things, people decide that they want something that will make them or help them feel like they're not so alone, I guess, in the world. And that in itself inspires true consumerism, or what people would even could consider individuality, because you can make or take or do anything you want to within that certain value, or within that certain product, or within that certain idea that's being projected towards you. You can take that idea and mold it and push it, and that's the essence of what I think America is. I think. No matter if people think it's stupid or dumb, or they hate it forever, or they don't think it's stupid, or they think it's amazing, or they agree with it totally, or they think that some of the things need to be tweaked in it, those people have that right to be able to make that idea into their own, because that's what people do constantly with every idea all the time. But within those rights lies a certain number or a certain specific idea that someone came up with, and someone needed to come up with, or someone wanted to come up with. And that in itself, through consumerism, I think is the reason why I decided that I was going to play copyrighted music, I guess, is because to show that even through a certain loophole, freedom of speech and expression is hindered. Through, but also too, in the same sense, expressing what I liked and seeing also if I would even get a reaction. So So realizing that, and I was only at 35 minutes, I'm gonna go. God dang it. You can never tell which way they're about to go. Let me see. But, man. Through that, I think that an individualistic expression of what an idea is, technically is that idea's thing. But playing that music probably wasn't the best of ideas. But, oh, god damn it. It's got cops. This is terrible. But also, too, in the same sense, playing that music and saying the way that it makes me feel was under my rights as a consumer to be able to say that it influenced me in a way, and that's the way that music should be consumed in some ways, even though it's copyrighted, or even though that it's a certain way, and it's a minor infraction as well, even if it is an infraction at all, which I am completely going to deny, because I know that within my own rights is to be able to express myself the way that I want to express myself, and when I feel like expressing myself or wanting to express myself, I felt like playing the music that I felt like playing. And I guess that's why I'm trying to say, no matter what, you're making a statement. No matter what kind of stuff you're making a statement. No matter if you're saying something that everyone enjoys or saying something that no one enjoys. You're still saying something about yourself. And you're still making a statement about what things are. And also, when you're in another country, everything seems new and fun. Even suicide. When you're in a new country that you've never experienced before, you'll laugh and giggle at anything. But also, too, in the same sense, you have to understand the reasons why. I'm not saying that there's a difference between the way that people look at suicide in America and the way that people look at suicide in other countries. Like, the reason why some people actually even consider suicide an actual thing is because they themselves don't see any other way, and they feel as though that it's a start over, or that it's something that they can take out, or just go to the stars basically and not even exist anymore. But technically, the existence is a perception, and that's where I think zombies would be prevalent, because you can believe wherever you want to be. You can believe you are wherever you want to believe you are. You can see anything through whatever lens you're looking through, trying to see something different, something somehow to change, to be able to see that, oh my God, I want something to be completely and utterly measured for my enjoyment. That means ruled. That in itself insinuates that you want a government to decide what you want and how you want it. Within those bounds of existence, realizing that what you actually think about every day could not only just be your downfall, or be your, oh, you son of a bitch, I got my goddamn, you son of a bitch. Come on, come on, come on, come on. I don't have any bullets left. I found out a lot of times